Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Games y Mas, the podcast where we talk about all things nerdy and pop culture. Today we're going to be talking about all things video games, as we're joined once again by our friend Matt, as we discuss about our top favorite video games that we've played of all time, as well as some not so bright games that we've played in the past. You got a suggestion you'd like to add on to the list of the games that we mentioned? Leave a comment below, and we'd love to hear about it. So, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñeme a jugar. All right, let's run it.
Run it.
New episode. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Games y Mas, podcast of all things nerdy, all things board games. You kind of get the gist of it by now, as you can see from the intro video. Today, we're going to be talking about video games. Let's go, bro. And I'm super excited about this. We're going to be talking about our topics of what I think are the best video games. We can also talk about our worst video games, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Our worst video games thing. So we're joined here with Matt today, and if you want to know his top board game and top video game, as we always do here at Games and Most with the Icebreaker, you got to check out episode 1. He was in the first episode. We did a debate.
Yep.
PC gaming versus console gaming. And yeah, go check out episode 1, guys. And we'll see. You guys can see who won that debate, as well as his favorite board game and favorite video game. Although you're probably going to get his video game today.
It might or might not be. I can neither confirm or deny it's going to be in my top 3 or not.
There you go. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here. So usually we do the icebreaker, the favorite board game, favorite video game. But again, we discussed this in first episode. Recurring guests. So yeah, let's talk about video games, bro. Let's run it. I got my goofy hat on here. We went to Disney yesterday, and we're tired.
Oh yeah,
we're that tired.
Sore.
Man, I can't do full Disney days anymore.
I know. Not without a nap in between.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. We were there rope drop all the way till. We left around 9, 10?
Yeah, around 10.
Right, 9 or 10? Oh, man, dude, I was dead. My legs were hurting. Everything was hurting. I just wanted to knock out.
And yeah, I felt my age.
Yeah,
I really felt my age.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I can't do these anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all do this. If you guys do full Disney days, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I can't do it. If you're still like in your mid-30s and still doing full Disney days, like tell me your secret.
Yeah. Where's that fountain of youth?
Yeah. Tell me how you're doing that, because man. But it was fun. It was cool. And yeah, and along with Disney, it comes with the topic of video games, because Matt and I's favorite video game has to do with Disney a bit.
Yep.
and Final Fantasy. But we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let's go with what's your favorite console that you've played throughout the years that you think is your top console here? We'll start with broad spectrum of consoles.
Favorite console, I would probably actually say it's not. I mean, it's not particularly close, just because of the amount of use I got out of it, and just the amount of games that I owned and played.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the PlayStation 2.
PS2, yes.
PS2 was like my bread and butter. I played that so much. Like by the end of that, like my console's like PS2 life, I still have it, but it looks completely disheveled. Like it's it's all broken, but it still runs. You know, they don't make them like they used to.
Barely, it barely runs.
But like the amount of good games, I think PlayStation 2 had the most like good quality games that came out for that specific like console.
Yeah.
Like where like, I mean, I had like a pile of games that were just good, whereas opposed to other consoles, there'd be a lot more hit or misses.
Yeah.
Where like PS2 was just banger after banger after banger.
Okay. Man, yeah, PS2 is one of the classics I love playing PS2s. The only problem that I had with the PlayStation 2 is that it was not easy to play multiplayer with.
Yeah, no, that was
hard.
before my multiplayer days.
Okay.
Yeah,
I really enjoy playing multiplayer. That's why I kind of gravitated more towards the Xbox. It was easier to play.
Yeah.
Xbox Live. I mean, obviously you had to pay, but it was much easier than PlayStation 2. But my favorite console though is the Dreamcast. Sega Dreamcast.
I wanted one.
Man, that thing was classic. You had all the classic games on there. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. You had
Crazy Taxi.
I'm probably Crazy Taxi, and we're playing. I had Shenmue 1 and 2, which if you guys don't know what Shenmue is, that's an OG game right there. That's I love playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude, yeah, Dreamcast was fit. What else I had? I had some other games. Oh, I played the old NFL. It'd be like NFL 02, NFL 03. But it was funny because me and my brother would always play NFL like 02.
Yeah.
And like we'd always turn off all the settings like to off, so you could do whatever you pretty much wanted to. So we would play like games. We'd feel like we'd do like a run or like a play. And then usually it'd be like, let's say you did like a running play. Okay, you gained 2 yards.
Yeah.
So then they would show the camera zoomed into like the player that did the run.
Yeah.
But you can still control all their players running around. So you see my brother like running around and then straight tackle me again to the ground. So my guy would fall to the ground and then just get back up again and start walking like that. We just messed around. We did that more than just actually play the game. We just kept messing around with each other in the game. It was so funny, dude. Oh man, like. I loved it. It was such a good time.
Do you know what? Actually, so I wanted a Dreamcast. My best friend Cody had one. I would go over to his house. I played Crazy Taxi all the time, but he had the one thing. Weirdly enough, that drew me to the console was not actually the console or the games itself. Do you remember in the controller? You had the memory card,
yes.
But it had the little screen on it. You could like play stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I wanted it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like to this day, I just want like those, and that's why I think I've always been like, I don't know, I've always really liked portables.
Okay.
Like portable, I think like even from a young age, like just having a little screen with buttons on it.
With the Game Boys.
Yeah.
Like
give me a Tamagotchi. Give me anything like that.
Those were cool. Cool. Yeah, I remember with the Dreamcast, I could never get that to work. So I had the memory card. So I would have the memory card in because I remember when I was playing Sonic Adventure 1, you had these little like I forgot what the creatures were called, but these like little blue creatures that you can like raise and grow as a mini game in the game. And they're like, oh, you can raise and grow it by using the memory card and like playing on the little memory card. But I never could get it to work. Like I would turn it and I'm like, I never got it. So I got so mad at it, and like so my little things would like be like hungry or like
that's so ahead of its time because if you remember Pokemon, I think it was Pokemon Leaf Green where you had the Pokeball and you could put it in the or it was something you could put it in the little thing and you can like raise
like
it and hatch it.
Yeah, I think I remember.
And then Pokemon Go even did that years later where you could have an actual Pokeball, put it in the Pokeball and walk and whatever and it'll like grow faster or whatever. You could do stuff to it. Dude, Dreamcast was way ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time. I remember. And if I'm correct, I think the Sega Dreamcast, the Xbox Drive got its ideas from the Dreamcast. Like if you notice its button layouts and stuff like that, it's just like the Dreamcast.
It should have done better than it did. It's actually a shame that it kind of flopped because it was I would say dude, the graphics were better.
Yeah, they were. They were
like,
ahead of its time. Yeah.
It was a really good console.
It was a great console. I liked it. So shout out to all my Dreamcast fans out there that it was I mean, I wish I never sold it.
I know.
I was a kid though. I sold it in a garage sale, and I just wanted money because I wanted more video games for my PlayStation. So
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'm such a hoarder that like literally I still have my original Super Nintendo in my closet along with my original PlayStation 1, PS2. My Xbox 360, I don't not original because I had like 18 rings of death.
Yeah, so you have 7 Xboxes that are all broken. Like I didn't work anymore. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I don't have my 360 anymore. I forgot what I did with it. I still have my PS2 somewhere in my parents' house.
Oh, okay.
My parents are like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Just save it. Leave it.
Just save it.
Leave it. Don't touch it." And then the 360, I don't know where it is. And then my PlayStation 3. I think it's still at my parents' house. I might have gotten rid of it.
Do you have the big fat one, the original one, or is it? Do you have
I have the slim down one, the super slim down one. Because I got a PlayStation 3 like late in the game.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of towards the end of where like it was like the PlayStation 4 was coming out already, but I still had the PlayStation 3 was still running it. Like I'm so cool, and so because I remember I got God of War, the trilogy.
And yeah.
And like I remember vividly, I was talking to the GameStop guy, and he's like, "Yeah, if you buy this PlayStation 3 bundle, you won't have to worry about a video game storage ever again because it comes with like 500 gigabytes of whatever, like memory." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, and it comes with all 3 God of War games, so you get to play all 3 of them. And then Ascension's coming out, so you can play that too. And I was like, "Okay, you sold." And I think it was like a random I think it was like a random Tuesday, or random like Friday.
Yeah.
But I just bought it because I was working at Pizza Hut at the time. I saved up all my tip money, and I went out and bought myself a PlayStation 3. My parents couldn't say anything because I'm like, "This is my money. This is my money. I bought it." So I got home, plugged it in, started playing. My brother's like, "Where'd you get that?" I'm like, I bought it, bro." Like,
it's called a job.
Yeah, get yourself a job, man, if you want to play this. I want to play it. Like, nah, bro, get yourself a job. You know, so I remember that vividly getting my PlayStation 3.
Dude, 500 gigs though, like that. I mean,
That's
the
not bad.
PS5 still, like my PlayStation 5 still only came with 500 gigs, despite like,
Really?
yeah, despite the fact that I mean, like Call of Duty Warzone's like
Yeah.
almost 200
That's
gigs.
that's all you can play.
Like I literally can only like install like 3 or 4 games at a time, and that, dude, it's
Yeah, that's nothing now. Not these games are getting
these games are getting too big,
way
bro.
too big. But
You
yeah,
optimize your stuff, people, please.
My PC is
Bethesda.
just screaming with storage. Like I need help me, please. I need to delete some games. So obviously we both prefer PC gaming.
Yes.
When it comes to the debate of PC versus console. Obviously for the debate I had to be console. I still love console. Like I said, like consoles has its perks. Like I love the fact that I could just sit down and just play. If I don't feel like sitting down on my chair and being in my room spelling stuff like that.
It's almost always gonna work.
Yeah. So, but again, PC
firmware updates or nothing.
no,
like
yeah,
that,
updates or graphics driver updates or things like that. But yeah, again, PC. I love playing PC. I mean, most games are coming to PC anyway.
Yep.
So, but with that, we could talk about our top games now. Here, we talked earlier about our top 3 video games. What do you think our top 3 video games are? And I gave you a day. I gave you a day to think about it. While we're at Disneyland, we're like, writing Indiana Jones. All right, what's your favorite top three video games? We're like, right, escaping the snakes and stuff. So I'll go ahead and let you go. I have top two. I have to think of my third because it was hard. But if you got your top 3 video games, Matt, what is your top 3 video games of all time? We could go any era, any console, any system. The top 3 video games that were so memorable to you that they still hold a place in your heart that you maybe still play right now to this day. Go ahead. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I think for me, I do have 3. It's not. I sympathize with you because it's not easy to get it down to 3.
So many video games played. So many video games.
I'm sure there's stuff that I'm forgetting that I could like possibly talk myself into putting up top 3, but just like where I'm at right now with the games that I've played, the stuff that has like you said kind of lasted with me. My top are it's. Do you want me to do a specific order or do you just like top 3?
Let's go. We'll go specific order. So
Okay.
3 is like your least of the top 3, but you still at your top 3.
Okay, then I would go first Kingdom Hearts. I would go second Red Dead Redemption 2,
Okay.
and then 3 I'd go Dragon Age Origins.
Dragon Age. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I think objectively, and this is not subjective. I think objectively, I know that's a bold statement,
Yeah,
but
it's bold.
objectively,
Here we go.
Red Dead Redemption is a top maybe 10, maybe even 5 game of all time. Just like I mean, if you look at the technical, just from a technical aspect, from stuff like the physics and how stuff works, where like, I mean, stuff that people are still finding out about now. Like I'll be scrolling my phone and there'll be like Red Dead, like little short videos, like showing you the physics of Red Dead. Like when there's a water barrel and like you shoot the top of the barrel, nothing comes out, but you shoot the bottom, then a little bit of water.
Like
Crazy stuff like that. Where like,
the detail.
The attention to detail in Red Dead Redemption 2 is stuff that like I've never seen another game company do. And so like, I mean, just for that alone, I mean, the fact that the story, it was one of the best stories I've ever played and seen.
It was a great story, yes.
It was amazing. I think Rockstar gets immersion, which is something that's really important to me.
Yeah.
Which, it gets thrown around so much, I think. Games that are claimed to have immersion, like, another Bethesda title that just came out that is supposedly immersive that I don't think it is at all. But like,
we don't say the S word.
Yeah, we don't say the S word here. I think Rockstar really gets immersion. I mean, it does it fantastically well, especially when it comes to Red Dead. And I think what is so cool is that, I mean, look at the differences between Red Dead 1 and 2. It's such a massive upgrade. They really took their time.
Yeah.
And they honestly killed it. They honestly killed it with that.
They did.
And like, I think, like I said, from a technical standpoint, I think Red Dead in its entirety, I think is objectively at least a top 10 game of all time.
I'm not going to argue with that because I did love the Red Dead series. 2 was amazing. One holds a special place in my heart, though. I love one.
Yeah.
Story wise, of that game, of the two, I would lean more towards one.
Okay.
I love John Marston's story.
Yeah.
And like I felt it with him because like it's like one of the first Rockstar games that I finished through.
Really?
Other than the Max Payne games.
What about GT? Like any of the GTAs?
I couldn't finish them.
Really?
They were so long. Those games were so long. They're so long. There's
That
so
was
much
back
stuff.
when you used to get what $60 went a long way.
Yeah, but like there's so much stuff to do in that game, and I'm one of those like completionists that like.
Oh yeah.
Where if I get like a game that's that long, I want to do everything I can in that game. Do all the side quests, do all the collectibles, do all what you can. Even try to beat it on the hardest difficulty. Your first try, your first run.
Oh, okay.
Try to do all of that.
Yeah, you're a masochist.
Yeah, that way, that way, I don't have to play it again. I'm done. I'm like, I beat it already. I did everything 100% it. That way, all you people that are still trying to 100% your games, you guys suck. Because I didn't. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I feel like if I just do my first run, my first try, and I do it all, I don't have to worry about this game ever again. Because I feel like, that's why I'm going through the Assassin's Creed games right now.
Yep.
Trying to 100% every single one because I've played all of them except Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla. But I played the rest, all of them, but I've beaten them like just once, like just go straight storyline. I did like some side quests here and there, but that was it. And then, but after I beat them all, I felt like I didn't do everything I could with that game.
Yeah.
So I went back. And this is years. I mean, back in like before COVID time, I think like 2018, 2019, I started playing Assassin's Creed games, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's do this again. And man, yeah, right now I'm on Odyssey. so yeah, you can tell that it's been
Trying to complete those old, like the newer, like Odyssey up to Valhalla, especially.
Yeah.
Trying to 100% that, hundreds of hours.
yeah. I'm scared. I'm scared with that one.
Dude.
Origins itself took me a while because I 100% the main game, and then I did the DLCs, and the DLCs themselves were like all mini game, like full games themselves as well. I'm like, dude, come on. So like, I was getting annoyed. I'm like, man, I want to beat this game already. I want to get rid of it. I want to move on to Odyssey. I'm tired of being in Egypt, bro. I want to be in Rome and all these other places. So yeah, so that was it. But when it comes to the storyline, but like Rockstar, Red Dead 1 was the first one that like I beat fully, completely. And I was just like, yeah. I mean, the ending I kind of hated.
I was just about to say, did the ending like take a turn for you?
It did.
How'd you feel about it?
I was upset. I was upset in a good way because I'm like, no, why? But I'm like, because I like went through this whole journey with John.
Yeah.
And then the ending happened. I won't say anything because of spoilers. If you haven't beaten the game, but I mean, we probably might spoil some of these games.
I mean, it's been out for.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's like ruining, Star Wars episode.
You know what?
4
I am
now.
going to spoil it for you guys. You guys should play, all right? If you don't want to spoil it, skip this part right here, and we'll go ahead. I'll timestamp it or something. When John Marston at the end, when you're done with all your stuff, you just wanted to live your life with your wife and kid, owning his own farm, doing his own thing, and then you exit that barn and you just get shot at. And I'm just like,
riddled full of
you
bullets.
you just get blasted, man. I'm like, like I was so mad. I'm like, dude, like I worked so hard to have John Marston have his latest stuff, his latest guns, all his latest cool things. Make him the craziest cowboy in the West, only to just get shot down by the government. I was like, man, I hate the government. I hate the Wild West government. That's where it all started. That's where it all started with me, So I was just like, man, like I was just so sad. I was like, why? And so, but then like when you became the son, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we could see something going on here. But then,
Quentin Tarantino revenge story.
I was like, let's go. He's going after. He's gonna be John Wick over here. You killed my dad. I'm gonna kill everybody with my dead eye and six shot pistol. So yeah, that one was good. But 2 was great though, but like I love 2 with Arthur, and I was like, oh no, Arthur, like his condition. I'm like, no man, he's on borrowed time.
I know, dude. Number 1 was great. I loved it. Number 2, like actually made me like tear up a little bit. Like I teared up quite a bit just with like, it was done so well because like in the very like to this day, like I started replaying Red Dead 2.
Okay.
I have not done the mission. Like I've done everything I possibly can, and I refuse to do the mission where you get sick.
At the very end, towards the end.
No. So in the beginning, when you're told to go collect that debt from that family.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and you start the mom and the son are out. The mom's like, "Oh, my husband's very sick."
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and then you start like trying to get rough with the guy
Yeah.
and collect the money, and he spits on you,
Yeah.
and he's coughing up blood and stuff like that. And so that's where it all started for Arthur.
Oh, how he got
and
sick?
yeah, so I refuse to play that. I
Dang.
only want healthy Arthur.
Ain't no Arthur gonna get sick today on my watch.
Yeah, because like you go through the game and like it's so well done where you go through it and then Arthur just starts coughing a little bit here and there and you
Start
like
noticing
yeah
it.
start noticing. I'm like, the heck is going on?
Like, hey, hold up.
Yeah.
I thought he got sick because he was out in that cold.
No,
In the winter.
no.
Because I'm like, oh, bro, like, curse you, Dutch. You brought us out here in the winter, in the cold, bro. I'm over here dying in the snow. Like, we got no protection. Like, we in the West here, man. We got no cars. We got no heating.
Yeah, no. The TB, I'm pretty sure is contracted through blood.
Okay.
And like bodily fluid stuff like that.
So that makes sense. Yeah, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, it was in a while since I played like when it first came out. That's when I played it and I beat it. And now I just play mostly online because I love playing online, passing up with the boys. Shout out to the sad boys. And so, but I never noticed that. That's cool. Yeah, keep Arthur alive, bro.
Yeah.
Let's negate the first events of the first game.
Yeah.
cancel out, and make the second one the canon, the real one. But yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I didn't never notice that. I have to replay the first one again. I have.
It holds up so well, and it's still one of the, especially on PC. I mean, even without mods, right? With mods, it's obviously crazy, but even without mods, it's still one of the prettiest games.
Yeah, it is.
That you can see.
I'm just so sad that when it came to like the online franchise of it, like
yes.
so much potential, and Rockstar just abandoned that
completely
project.
abandoned it.
Went straight to GTA 5.
I know I feel like it was such a lost opportunity because it was so good. I loved it, and like I mean, even the fact that people were clamoring for Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, they should bring that. They kind of did online though.
I know there's mods for it and stuff like that.
Yeah, but no, so during Halloween time, they had like an event where it's
did they? Okay.
Where it's like you fight off hordes of zombies.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't a storyline like the undead. Like
I don't know. Have you played it?
I've only started it. I've never played that one.
It's so good. I
heard it was great.
It's so much fun.
Really?
So much fun. Yeah, that's why people wanted it back so bad because especially with the updated graphics and the gameplay and like the immersiveness.
Yeah.
Like Undead Nightmare would have been amazing on Red Dead 2.
I agree. They should. I mean, I think it'd be great addition, a good DLC to add on to Red Dead 2 and bring back that franchise. So Matt, so that's your top three. Kingdom Hearts, Red Dead Redemption, and Dragon Age Origins.
Yep.
Three phenomenal games. I love playing. I'll give you my top three, and then we can discuss there. My number one is gonna be Kingdom Hearts, just like yours. Kingdom Hearts 1 though.
Yeah.
I don't want to go franchise of the whole game because I mean 2 was cool. I like 2, but if I had to fight it, I'd go 1 because it's like the original.
Okay.
You had the original people. Like it was simple. Kind of like back when I played it was during simple times when like it was great, not
simple
crazy.
and clean.
Yeah, simple. Shout out to the main theme song, simple and clean. And so the first one was great. I remember playing that one. I remember when I first got that game, I borrowed it from a friend from middle school, and I was playing it. I'm like, oh, I love this game, but then like I had to return it, I think, or not return it, but like I was holding on to it for too long, and I felt bad. I'm like, I gotta return it. And I told my guy, I told the friend, hey man, like I love this game. This game's fun. Like I gotta get back. I feel like I'm holding it too long. He's like, hey man, just give me $20. You can have it. I'm like, all right, man. Dad, let me borrow $20. And I gave it to him. He's like, yeah, I don't like playing this game. It's too Disney. I'm like, I say less. I like playing this game.
Yeah.
And at that time, that was when Final Fantasy X came out.
Oh,
and so
I could have put that there too.
I love Final Fantasy X, and so I was coming off of that high of the Final Fantasy X game. Yep. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I love playing that game. And so then now Kingdom Hearts came out, and then you had Final Fantasy characters. I'm like, oh, this is actually a good matchup.
It's the crossover we never knew we needed.
Yeah, and it's there. So, Kingdom Hearts 1, my top favorite. That's my number 1. My number 2 is Fable.
Okay,
Fable 1. Fable 1 for the.
I see a pattern here.
Yes, Fable 1. Fable 1.
Don't make sequels.
Stop making sequels. Yeah, unless you're Red Dead. Unless you're Rockstar, you can make some good sequels. Yeah, Fable 1 was my favorite RPG game I played for the Xbox. it's just great. I just love playing. Like
great
it blew my mind because I'm like, oh snap! Like the more you level up, the buffer you get.
Yep.
And I was like so cool. Like I love when games integrate changes like that, where it's like if you do more of this, like your characters start changing, and I'm like, oh, that's so immersive. I love the fact that one thing that did it really well was Sims 2. With Sims 2, if you kept eating a lot, not working out, your sim will start to get like a little fatter.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, cool. And then you start working out, you get slimmer. And I'm like, man, what a great technique. Especially like in like The Witcher 3, when you shave, your beard starts to grow throughout the time. Like that was great ideas that were implemented. And in Fable 1, if you start doing good stuff, good deeds, you start to see the halo. You get the halo, you start looking good. But you're like, I didn't like it though, because like the more good you got and the more like power you got, your hair started getting all white.
Yeah.
No, I look like a buff old man, right? Like this big old buff old man.
Like Gandalf.
Yeah, I look like Gandalf, but like he's like worked out, got swole. And also like, but I liked it. It was a love-hate, is that the more you got hit, or I think the more you died and came back to life, the more scars you'd have on your body.
Yep.
So I was like all scarred up. I looked like some weird, like scarred up buff old man, dude. I'm like, dude, I look weird. And like these women were like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, you're attracted to this? This is weird. Okay, I guess.
Like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, I look like Frankenstein's monster, super buff Frankenstein's monster can snap you like a twig. So I was like, all right, whatever. I had like 16 wives in that game.
I remember, you could marry and do all that stuff.
You could have kids. But I think they'd only be like grow up to like a certain age or like still be babies, something like that.
Yep.
But it's funny because I remember there's a mission where you can marry the queen of the city, or like
I think I remember.
I forgot who, or the mistress or the empress, whatever it was. But if you marry her, she's like, you can't have any other wives, only me. And she kills all your wives and kids. I'm like, oh snap! Like it was funny because I was like, all right, whatever, bet. I still have I have like 4 wives, it's whatever. And then I went to those towns and they're gone. And I'm like, what happened to them? They're like they mysteriously disappeared. Like, okay, some fishy went around here. So it was funny, but yeah, again, the missions, the storyline was great.
It was ahead of its time.
It
like
was.
You said, with like the stuff with the like. I also like games where like the more stuff. Red Dead even did this, where the more specific stuff you did, like you level up in that specific area.
Yeah.
Rather than you just get XP for doing random stuff, and then you got to place points and do stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want to get better at fishing. If I fish more.
Yeah.
Like I think that's way more
I like
immersive.
that. Yeah.
But I do remember I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but there is a choice that you can make at the end where you could either you could do something or get the best weapon in the game.
Oh, in Fable?
Yeah, in Fable 1.
Fable, yeah.
And so for me, the way I love RPGs and I love things like Red Dead, things like Witcher, because I love collecting gear.
Okay.
You're right. That's what drew me to stuff like Destiny, but other games where I'm a hoarder. Like Borderlands is like crack to me.
Yeah.
So
there's so much stuff in that game.
So like collecting like crazy, unique looking, powerful weapons, like that's my thing. So, but I'm also a lot of times I have to make the best choices.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't feel like I did the game the right way.
Yeah.
So like
You failed the character.
I failed the character. So I was so conflicted because I'm like, dude, I need that sword.
Hey, that sword be healing me though.
Yeah, but I also can't do what I need to do to get it because I feel like I need the ending that I want.
Yeah.
And so I do what I always do. I create a save and then
Yeah. The old save before you do something method. Yes.
That's right.
I love that. I love doing that. Yeah, I do that. I like the swords. I ended up getting the sword because I'm like, the sword's OP, bro. I need the sword. I was like, forget this person. But it's funny because like every time I would play that game with my brother, funny story is like whenever like the swords were like ridiculously like big, like and then they needed to be. So my brother's like, "Dang, bro, what's up with your sword? Like bigger than your whole body." Like we're carrying it around. I'm like, "Hey man, it's a game. Leave it alone." He's got this big old sword you're carrying around, and so Fable is my number 2 game, and then my number 3 game is actually a franchise that I love playing so much. I just love the ingenuity of it, and it's the Splinter Cell series.
Oh, okay.
I love
shout.
especially Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory was one of my favorite games I played. I love stealth games. I love playing stealth games, but like the way Splinter Cell is stealth, like use the darkness as your ally. Like, it's not a gun. It's not like a game where you go and start blasting everybody. Like, you need to be smart about this. Otherwise, there's going to be enemies that alert enemies, and it's going to be harder for you to get through this whole mission, to do this whole thing.
That was back when stealth was actually hard.
Yes, and it was
not
hard.
like it is today.
Yeah, no, nowadays it's just like you hide in a corner and then you just wait and like, all right, where'd everybody go?
The scripted pass and stuff like that. Like, I feel like stealth today is not as like deep as it was back then.
No, it was so yeah, it was. I think the only thing that can come close to stealth now, I can maybe is maybe like the Skyrim games.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe like the way you introduce stealth, but like the way Splinter Cell handles stealth, or no, maybe like Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Breakpoint is a good another stealth game, but then that's Tom Clancy, so it's like that's the whole genre.
Yeah. Or Metal Gear 5.
Metal Gear 5, yeah, it's a little bit more stealthy like that. You use that, but the way the Splinter Cell games were like you can just hide behind a corner in the darkness.
Yep.
And you're just all covered in dark, and the guy just passes by you. You don't see that, and you can just grab him from behind and interrogate him. The game was so great. Like I love Sam Fisher, his character development throughout the games. The later games like was it Blacklist? Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Action-y.
It was more actiony, more like still incorporated stealth a little bit. But it was still more action, more like trying to do the craziest kills, like more John Wick type kills.
Yep.
Same with the second one, the one after that, before that one. I forgot what it's called. It's called Splinter Cell. I forgot, but it kind of
Double Agent or something.
No,
that?
the Double Agent still had that stealth mechanic.
Okay.
So more stealth mechanic. It was Double Agent, and then it's slipping my mind. If you know it, leave it in the comments. But that second one, it's like he's going on a rampage trying to like figure out what happened to his daughter and stuff like that. They incorporated less stealth. It was more just kind of like doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the whole using your gadgets. There's more than one way to go around things.
Yep.
You don't have to kill everybody. In fact, they encourage you not to kill anyone.
Right.
Just go pass by them, sneak by them, and only interrogate who you need to interrogate to get the storyline. And so I liked it. I like those games. Those were one of my top 3 games of like one of my top on my top list of games I love playing because. Yeah, it's the ingenuity of it, and so like Chaos Theory was so cool because you got the knife, and you like grab people knife.
That CQB that started with the we're always like with MG Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater when they before this. That's where it started was Chaos Theory with the like CQB and all that.
Yes.
It was also the first game where I thought it was so cool where you could actually shoot out lights.
Yes, yeah. And like, people are like,
I've never
that?
seen that before. That
yeah, and that was smart. That's a very very ingenuitive of that to do. Like, all right, there's this brightly lit corridor. What are you gonna do? Like, you have to use darkness. You can't.
It really made you have to think.
Shoot the lights out, turn off the lights, or figure something out. Throw an EMP or whatever you got to do to use darkness as your advantage. You got to use darkness as your advantage, and so those were so good games. They don't make them like they do anymore.
No.
I think the Splinter Cell games stopped. I don't know if they're making another one or not. If they do, Tom Clancy, like you guys, like, or Ubisoft, and now it's like Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Like bring back that stealth stuff. Bring out that darkness, using the darkness and cover, hiding behind walls and not having to kill anyone, do all the things. Like bring that stuff back because like it makes it harder, but it makes you want to think. It makes it more gratifying. Don't make it like Dark Souls, like extremely like impossible to play. But just make it a bit more of like we have to think now. I feel like games right now are too babied.
They are. I mean, what they need to do is they need to do what they did with like Assassin's Creed Mirage, like how Assassin's Creed they went back to the original formula. That's what I think Splinter Cell should be. And you're right. Like games are. If you go in like the accessibility settings now, it's like there's games where it's like turn on God mode. You're dude.
It's like I don't need to use cheats anymore. Like
I know.
It's the same. Okay. Infinite ammo? Okay, whatever.
I know. It's like, okay, like, I understand some games, like, for some gamers might need that, but it's like, dude, like...
Yeah, it is. I mean, I guess people start complaining too much. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the games are getting too easier, but the games that are harder, like Dark Souls, Elden Ring type of games, people are gravitating towards more of those games. It's like, all right, I want to be punished. I want to
feel accomplished.
Yeah, I want to feel
accomplished.
Do something. Yeah, so it's like... And they should take that formula and like obviously not copy it because I'm starting to see a lot of games start copy like the Elden Ring formula. And I'm like, okay, we get it. I think one that I've been recently playing is the Lies of P game.
Yep.
It follows the same formula as Bloodborne and Dark Souls and all those games, but I mean it still works. It's pretty cool. It's a different technique, but you can tell like okay, everyone's trying to be the next.
It's the Soulsborne.
Yeah, it's trying to be the next Souls. And it's like okay, be original, be a little bit more original and stuff like that. So those were our top 3s. If you like them, if you didn't agree, disagree, give us your top 3 of your top video games of all time. Maybe we're dumb for thinking that ours are the best, but I mean they are the best. But what do you think of like let's go into like a little bit more some categories here. We'll go to like 3 categories and keep it kind of short here with the podcast. The first category I want to dive into is RPGs because RPGs is like a very massive topic. For those that are listening and watching, RPG stands for role playing games.
Yep.
They're games that you are doing quests, doing a lot of these things that you're improving your character throughout the game to just be better throughout the game, doing quests and all about story. I feel like RPGs are more about story and leveling up your character rather than just kind of just going out there and lights flashing everywhere and guns blazing and stuff. And so that's what RPG means when we're talking about RPGs. We're not talking about the rockets. We're not talking about Call of Duty. So RPGs. So let's go. Yeah, we'll go stick it with the threes. What do you think are your top 3 RPG games?
Top 3 RPGs. I would put Witcher 3 there.
Witcher 3 is a good one.
I would not. What I would not do is, I don't know, this might get controversial, is I wouldn't put Skyrim there.
Really?
I would not. I
Okay.
honestly, there's some problems that I have with Skyrim, even Oblivion. There's stuff that I like in my RPG that Bethesda just they kind of deliver on the Fallout series, but they don't deliver when they do their Elder Scrolls.
That's like the gods of all RPG.
I know. That's why I say it might be controversial.
Okay.
I think. I mean, they do side quests good.
Okay.
I still never finished the main quest
For Skyrim?
for Skyrim.
I finished it, but you don't know you finished it.
Really?
Like, yeah, because like when you do it, like you could tell that this is the final battle.
Yeah.
And this is the final thing that goes on. But then when you finish it, you just go back to like so you get teleported to like the other dimension.
Yeah.
You fight the final boss with all your allies, and you get teleported back to Skyrim. And they're like, "All right, good job." And then everyone just walks away, and you're standing there, and I'm like, "Was this it?" Like you can talk to them, and you'd be like, "Hey, you did it. You defeated the main blah 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 blah.
Right.
All right, now maybe we can rest easier." And then like you can't talk anymore. He just goes back away, and everyone just goes their separate ways back into the land, and you're just standing there like, did I beat the game or like there's no end credits, there's nothing. You just keep playing. I was so confused. I was like, did I not finish something? Like was this not the main mission? I don't understand what I was supposed to do. And so it ends kind of not like Fallout 3. You could tell there's that definite ending.
Yeah.
Same thing with New Vegas. You have that definite ending where it ends. Yeah, Skyrim is just same with Oblivion. Oblivion, a little bit more like it ends. You can tell
I did complete that main quest. I did do that one,
and it just feels like all right, that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. I guess there's like not really that conclusion you can have.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're not putting Skyrim on there as your your top 3. So Witcher. All right, what are your other ones?
So obviously the one I already put in my top 3, Dragon Age Origins.
Dragon Age. Okay, that's
which
a great
I
one.
think is one of the best. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I think with, and again, it's one. I think the sequel, especially Dragon Age 2, was awful.
Yeah.
Was so bad. It was such a huge step back.
I did like the graphics though.
I did like the graphics. I think I was one of the people in the camp that I feel like they should have continued the story from 1. I mean, it would have been a little like, depending on your like the choices I made. There was a clear path to make continue that story because it was so interesting.
Yeah,
like the choices that I made with like Morgan and like what she wanted to do, and like she kind of tricked me.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was so cool, and like they could have made like a amazing game, a sequel to that continued the story,
Yeah.
and they kind of did with 3. There was like a DLC that kind of continued it. Because I think people wanted to know, because what happens at the end, depending on your choices, it feels like it's like a big piece to even a bigger story.
Yeah.
And like it just 2 comes out and there's like no mention of it. It's like,
yeah.
what happened?
I think they say 1 or 2 things about it, but
Yeah.
like forgot I think it's Varric or whatever, the dwarf.
Yeah,
he like says something about the warden for Eldon. Something like that. That's it. And you're like,
that's it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and you're like I made a baby with Morgan,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, what happens to the child? Like,
Yeah,
obviously, what is Morgan's intention with the child? Obviously, she has ulterior motives.
Yeah.
How does her mother factor into this? Because she's a big baddie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wanted to know what happens and what happens to me.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of cool things they could have done.
Yeah.
But I think that game, even though I still prefer non-linear RPGs like a Witcher, even like a Skyrim.
Yeah.
But even for Dragon Age Origins, for how linear it was one of the best stories.
Yeah.
even though I know and like what's gonna happen, I replayed it so many different times just because I thought the story was so cool. The combat I thought I was good. Because like I used to not be into any kind of turn-based combat. Like I needed to. I rather button mash.
You want button mash,
I rather Dynasty Warriors my way through a game. But like the story was so good that it kind of like Final Fantasy X. The story was so good that I kind of pushed that to the side. I was like, okay, I'll go along with this and see if I could get into it. And by the end of it, I actually liked the combat.
Yeah.
And the characters, all the characters were great. There was not one bad like side character or companion that you had. I thought they were super compelling. And again, the overarching story of everything you did felt big, and like everything you did
your
felt
actions,
like your action felt big. Like this whole big like cataclysmic event is going to happen, and you need to get as much allies as possible. You need to go to every single one and be like, dude, I need your support. We're in this together. You know, and like there's also that side story, like your parents getting murdered and you need to confront the guy who did it.
True.
There was just so much stuff going on that was just so awesome in that game.
But that's funny though, what you say about your parents getting murdered is that's just one intro.
Yeah. That's true. That's just one intro.
Yeah, it's one intro. Like, depending on who you choose, depending on what class you are and like your race, is what intro you get. So like that, it's like your intros. That's what I love. That's what I love about that game. Like that, like you're making me remember all the stuff about the Dragon Age. Is the intro is like every intro is going to be a different playthrough through your game. So if you're an elf, like you're gonna be seen as like, oh, you're this dirty slave elf that nobody cares about and stuff like that, and like it's like, all right, you're making a name for yourself. If you're a dwarf, you're in the mines and you discover magic. Now, like, no one does. So it's like every intro, there's a different intro. So like, I love the human intro because your parents get murdered, they get betrayed. And so you're trying to go like either get revenge or and so again, like you were saying, so I didn't want to cut you off, but no, I remember like those intro parts. I was like, dude, I before I played the game, I did every intro. I was like, I want to know these intros. I want to see how these intros are. And then I'd be like, all right, which one did I like better? I'm like, I'm gonna be the human. But I do want to play I need to play again, and I need to play as an elf. See how the game plays differently as an elf.
And what's funny is because Cyberpunk tried to do that with the whole Street Kid, Corpo, and then like Nomads. But the problem, even like Dragon Age Origins did it so much better because even like the stuff like characters and stuff that you had to do, it actually mattered depending on what intro you took. With Cyberpunk, even though I love especially where Cyberpunk, I loved it and where the redemption arc of Cyberpunk, it like all that really mattered. You all got to the same place, and then the only thing that was really different was like some dialogue. That's really it. And obviously they promised so much more, where like stuff that actually mattered. But Dragon Age Origins, way before that, did it first. And it actually did it right. Like you said, with the different intros. And like for me, with who likes the horde gear and get all the best gear and do all that stuff, it was that game was a dream come true. Even the DLCs, I had all the DLCs. I remember the Warden's Keep DLC. What I loved, because like you got this comet fell out of the sky, and you pick up this like this ore that came out of the comet, and then you go to this town and you have them like make like a sword for you out of like the meteorite and stuff. I'm just like wielding this meteorite sword. I was like, this is so cool.
Killing everybody.
And so like that kind of stuff I loved, and one of my favorite games of all time.
That was a good one. So you said Dragon Age Origins, and then what was your first one?
First one, Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. Okay, so then what's your third one? What's your third one after that one?
Third one, shoot. I might have to say, just because of how many hours I put into it, and I know I still have my reservations with Bethesda like now, but back then the formula was newer to me, so I was fine with it, and it was also in a time where games were a little bit more simplistic. But I think Fallout 3. I still don't like the fact that you can't aim down sights like you can like in like New Vegas. That's really my only complaint. But like that game also, like the side quests, just exploring downtown DC. I did that for hours. hours.
It's actually pretty accurate too.
Yeah, and just like going into like the memorials and getting like Lincoln's repeater and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Again, I love finding unique weapons with like
Yeah.
unique names.
Those are cool.
I love that. I'm such a collector when it comes to that. So like I love games like that.
That one's a good one. Yeah, the DLCs were pretty cool too.
Yeah, some of the best DLCs. The one where you do the like virtual war.
Oh, yeah, when you find
where
the
you get
bunker? Yeah.
one of the best favorite guns
That
I've
was
ever.
cool.
The Gauss rifle.
Yeah.
where you take it out and you put it back. That was what I used that thing so much. I
think it was
loved
fun. That was a fun
It's
one.
so much fun.
I like the one where you go into the
Spaceship.
not the space. That one was funny. That
Yeah,
one was funny.
that
one.
was funny.
That was a funny one. I was like, what the heck? It's like a not Nuka World. What was it called? You go into this like other like
Point Lookout or something like that.
not Point. I think it's Point Lookout where like you get trapped as a slave, and now you got to free everybody.
No.
I forgot the DLC
Not
name.
the
was.
whole. It was something.
Something World. It was called something World or
I know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
where you get
I totally forgot about
yeah,
that.
you
but
like
yeah.
you travel and then you get captured.
That
and
was a
you're-
decent size.
That was a big one, yeah.
yeah.
You get trapped, and he's like, nah, we gotta start you start a revolution, and
Yep.
like free everybody. That one was cool. And then I always wanted, so I started playing the one where like it's the swamp lands, where you're like in the swamps. You're like in this weird like it looks like Louisiana, but you're like in the
Yeah.
swamp one. And you have these weird like mutated like mutants. That are, like,
I think that was Point Lookout.
it might have been Point Lookout, but I don't know why. But every time I tried playing that game, my game would crash.
Really?
It would always keep crashing.
Console.
No, it was on PC.
PC,
It was on
okay.
PC. I was playing it on PC. It
Okay.
would always crash.
Dang.
And I don't know why. And I'm like, I guess like it's not meant to be to play this DLC one, because I'm like, man, like I was intrigued. I was like, all right, let's figure it out. There's new weapons, these new enemies. What's going on? But yeah, my game kept crashing. So I'm like, I'd have to either when I start, I have to revert back to the save where I was and start over again from the intro, or
Yeah.
just not do that DLC. Just keep stay in DC. So I'm like, forget this game.
Yeah, and like I said, like with Bethesda, like even the main quest for Fallout 3, I thought was but
Yeah.
like it wasn't that memorable, and I didn't really care for it. But like side quests, man,
You didn't want to find Daddy Leeson?
No, I
Daddy
could
Liam Neeson?
at that like when I'm like in the middle of like the museums and Lincoln Memorials and stuff, I could care less.
Yeah.
But like when I'm fighting super mutants and stuff like that, and with my Gauss rifle,
Yeah.
and I loved it. And like I said, the side quests were great. I thought the locations like Fallout and like even Skyrim and the Fallout games like let just exploring was some of the most fun.
They did good there, yeah.
I just loved exploring like stuff like they would you would stumble upon like a little scene, and like there would be like a little story with that scene, like there'd be like dead like skeletons, and
Yeah.
like there'd be a note next to it explaining what happened.
Yeah.
Finding stuff like that I could do for hours.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Fallout games were fun. New Vegas was great.
New Vegas was great.
They took what 3 did and they upped it more. I love
Not
the
by
game.
Bethesda though.
It's not by Bethesda.
No,
I
it
thought
was
a Bethesda game.
I forgot the company. It was it wasn't by Bethesda.
This one is- oh.
Yeah,
Well, no
that's
wonder why it's
another.
better.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like it because it wasn't. They pointed out because it wasn't Bethesda.
Who made the Dragon Age games then?
That was BioWare.
BioWare, yes.
BioWare.
And they made the Mass Effect
Yeah.
games. And I love the Mass
Yeah,
Effect game. Mass
except
Effect
for 3. I liked 1 and 2.
3 was okay, but yeah, that ending was kind
The
of
ending was so bad.
I haven't played Andromeda.
I haven't.
I've played it. I started it, and I'm like, okay, I can see where you're going with it, but it's just hard for me to get into it. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, because there's so many other games I want to play now. I'm like, Mass Effect's kind of on the back burner of games like that. Okay, so your top 3 RPGs. To recap: Witcher 3, Dragon Age Origins, and Fallout 3.
Yes.
Okay, you like the threes. You like the
I do.
Witcher 3 and Fallout 3. All great games. All games that I love playing. Witcher 3 I still have yet to beat. I still need to
Dude.
beat. And I heard it has one of the best DLCs.
Yes.
And so
2 of them. And I would tell you, Heart of Stone has probably the best story, where it's like that also made me tear up. Like that Heart of Stone is great. Blood and Wine. I mean, it's literally you could pay $70 for that game. Like you get more out of that DLC than a lot of games that are coming out right now. Dude, that took me 15, 20 hours by itself.
here's a question here before I get to my top 3. And this is for you guys too in the comments. Leave it alone. Leave it in the comments here. Would you rather have a game that has a great story, but trashy graphics, glitchy graphics, looking, Cyberpunk 2077 first came out graphics type of,
On console.
on console where like it was graphic, but the storyline's amazing.
Okay.
Or a game where the storyline's like, but this game looks beautiful visually. Like, man, like everything looks around you is like so beautiful visually.
Yeah, so I have an answer, but there's a caveat. So I would usually I would prefer crappier graphics, better story.
Okay.
Usually. The only caveat to that is if with the gameplay, if it's like addictive, like Cyberpunk, for instance, like the gunplay, especially now, if the gunplay and there's been games that the story is awful, and there's honestly not a lot to do, but the gunplay or whatever the gameplay loop is just so much fun to just play, that I kind of look past the story and or the graphics or anything like that. And I'll play that for hours on end. But 9 out of 10 times, I prefer a crappier looking game and an amazing story. Yeah.
Yeah, you could. I think an example that comes to me, and I'm with you. I'm on the same page. If you disagree, let us know. Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
Graphics aren't that amazing.
Right.
They're not great, but the storyline's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the graphics are okay, but yeah, it's not as great. Shenmue 1 and 2 for the Dreamcast. If you guys know what that game is, a game about you taking place in like the 1980s Japan, and you're this guy named Ryo Hazuki, and he is looking to get revenge for his dad who got murdered in front of you in a dojo by this man named Shang Li or something like that. Graphics are, I mean, actually the graphics
For
were
the time,
they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're great, but you could tell like, okay, these are, but the storyline was amazing. It was great. And so like I preferred that over than like some, like Resident Evil 1. Like I liked the storyline, but the graphics were,
Yep.
really, really, really wacky. And so,
But those are the games that are gonna hold up.
yes.
So like we could go back to like Dragon Age. Like I could go back, even though the graphics for like nowadays, like they'd be like, oh my gosh, this looks like a mobile game.
Yeah.
I could go back, but the story is so
So good.
compelling,
Yes.
that I can replay it no problem.
Yeah.
The games that are gonna have that are on the opposite end of that spectrum just don't hold up nearly as much.
I agree. So yeah, we're leaning more towards less visually pleasing games, but story driven games than more visually pleasing than less story driven games. If you disagree, let us know. Give us a reason why, guys, and I'd love to read those comments. My top 3 real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap this up here. We'll do a part 2 for video games. You can do so many. Yeah, you can do so many. We're already almost past our time. My top 3 RPG games. Number 1 is going to be. I have to go back with Fable.
Okay.
Fable's RPG. I love playing the game. The story's amazing. It's good. I feel like, and thinking about this, like I feel like games can be broken down to 2 categories, and then you can umbrella them after that. FPSs and RPGs.
Yeah.
FPS, you can umbrella that into like horror and action and whatever, and then RPGs you can umbrella that onto third-person RPGs or third-person smash 'ems and stuff like that. So I think when it comes to that, RPGs. First one is Fable. I love Fable 1. 3 I actually enjoyed because
You like Fable 3?
I like 3 because of like the things you could do, the stuff you could add. I like having guns. I like being able to shoot with guns. Crossbows and bows and arrows were cool, but like I like having guns. I like the mechanic. I just like the mechanic that you can play online.
Oh, okay.
So that now you can play online with other people with their created characters.
Right.
So it'd be really cool to play that. Kind of closest thing I got to an MMO. I don't like MMOs. It's the same thing. It's just grind. You're just grinding the whole time. So Fable 1 is my favorite RPG. My second favorite RPG game that I like. I'm torn between these games, but I do love the Skyrim games. Like I said, you don't like. I love Skyrim, just because of I just like the world and like the world of like fantasy of dragons.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah.
And I like being immersed into that world, especially now when you can mod it and do all those things.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Being into that type. I don't know if Sims is considered RPG. No, I was
Yeah, I think that the definite. I mean, you're literally role playing.
yeah, your character
role-playing your,
making them
like,
strong.
life,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would lump that as like an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
Because I love playing Sims. I love like playing everything about Sims. I play from 1 up to 4 right now. But that's an honorable mention. But that's not my top list. My top list is Fable and Skyrim, and then the third one, man, either Star Wars, crap, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1.
Yep.
It's either a fight between that and Mass Effect 1, because I love space games. I love like exploring space games where like the whole world's like your universe.
Yeah.
And especially with the Star Wars universe, I love playing Knights of the Old Republic because it's like before everything, but you get to travel to planets and make your choices and be a Jedi or be bad and make choices. But that was a great story, especially at the end, at the twist when they reveal who you really are. And I was like, oh snap!
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, what a great game. But I love Mass Effect because you're Commander Shepard and you're this guy who's going to save humanity, but you get to travel to different worlds, meet different people, and make choices, and make decisions. So I like that one. But if I'm going to choose out of those two, it's going to be Knights of the Old Republic. 1 and 2. 2 is great, but 1 was like,
2 was unfinished. I think something happened with the development, unfortunately.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Also, rip to the Knights of the Old Republic remake. I think it just went official that the game's now dead, which is really unfortunate.
Man.
Yeah.
So we just have the MMO then, huh?
Yeah.
But that's BioWare too, no?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think so.
I think I like BioWare. I mean, BioWare's great.
Honestly, I usually don't like MMOs, but I played a lot of the Star Wars Old Republic, the MMO. It's honestly just like Knights of the Old Republic. It's literally if Knights of the Old Republic, but it's just a huge story that you grind.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it doesn't feel that much like an MMO to
Really?
me. Yeah, I play it more just like a regular,
I tried it once, but it was, I felt like, go collect this, go do this.
I
go
mean,
do
yeah,
this.
there is a lot of
I
that.
was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. I felt like I wasn't having any meaning in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like, as if, like, Knights of the Old Republic, where you made decisions, and you're like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
your companions didn't like this. I'm like, well, forget your companions, bro. I'm out here trying to be a Sith, man. I'm trying to destroy people, trying to do lightning. And so, yeah, those are my top 3. If you guys agree with the RPG games, let us know. Let us know what your RPG games are. We'll use one more question, and this will be a quick one. Is what's your number 1 FPS game? And FPS stands for a first-person shooter. So those are like the Call of Duty games, the Battlefield games, those where you only see your gun, or it's like through the eyes of someone. So you don't see their full character. You just see like the kind of like a virtual reality, kind of like your own vision. So that's the best I can kind of describe in the short time we have what an FPS game is. But yeah, what would be your number 1 FPS game?
I think my number 1 FPS, just because I've played it so much, I love playing with friends online, would be COD.
Call of Duty?
Like I even watch competitive Call of Duty like a lot, and I listen to podcasts on competitive Call of Duty. But like, it's also hard for me to like. I would have to think of a different like a story. Because when I think FPS, I think COD more of an online arena shooter FPS type, but more like when someone asks me like what's your favorite FPS, I usually think more of like a story driven FPS, like a Doom or something like that. But if I had to pick umbrella overarching like FPS game, it would have to be COD because I played so much of that.
The whole franchise or a certain?
Oh, so if I had to pick one, I mean, I like the jetpack era. Any COD with movement, I know that might be controversial, but any COD with movement, I think Black Ops 2 was also one of the best. The original Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I even liked the original Black Ops. I liked there's only a few like this last Modern Warfare 2, the one that just came out, is the worst COD of all time.
Really?
Oh yeah, it wasn't even close.
Are you gonna get 3?
I did get 3. It's better. It's only up from there. But I would say Modern Warfare 3 so far is a lot better than.
Okay.
Yeah.
For mine, I had to close this out. My favorite FPS one, and again, you're right with the whole umbrella. Like there's a story FPS, is a story. I'm gonna go more story. Is gonna be BioShock.
Yeah,
that's
such a good game.
BioShock 1 was so
what an
great.
intro.
Yeah. Oh man, all of them had good. 3 was. Lydia's agreeing. She agrees. 2 was okay intro. I just like the fact that I was a Big Daddy. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Big
Yeah.
Daddy. But
That one is a good twist.
yeah, that was a good twist.
Big Daddy.
But number 1 was great. I love the intro of welcome to Rapture.
Oh.
I decided
I had chills.
yeah, it's like does your work belong to you? No, it belongs to the government. Says,
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, Sam. He's like, I say it belongs to you. He's like, that's why I created Rapture. And bam, you see the whole.
Do you, when that happens, you're in for something amazing.
Yeah, you're like, okay, here's a ride I'm about to get into. Like, I don't know, and it was creepy too because I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? And then you're just in this world of like. And I like the fact that like stuff already went down in that city. Like it's not brand new. It's like, oh, welcome. Like it's like this has been for a while, and stuff happens, and now we're just in this chaos state of everything's ruined.
Yeah,
and people are trying to survive. You're just coming in here like, what's going on?
There was this underwater utopia. Something went wrong. I want to find out what the heck went
wrong. Why are these people going? Why are these splicers going everywhere? Why are they trying to kill me? What is happening? And so, I really enjoyed that one. That one was good. And 2 was great. I like the Big Daddy twist. And I like the fact that it takes place like you see the before and then the after events of 1.
Yep.
And then it takes place afterwards, like what happens after when everyone's gone. And then 3 was amazing. 3 was good. It's kind of confusing. I was confused the whole time.
I was confused as well.
But I mean, I just did some research and I just found out.
You
stuff
do
like
have to do
so,
research.
We'll have to cut it here. We'll do another episode. We'll talk more into FPSs and stuff like that. But it was great. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our talk about video games, talking about, like I said, my favorite loves, my 2 passions are, 1 is board games. I love playing board games. I can talk about board games all day. Anything, and I love playing board games. You can throw me a board game that's more complicated and I'll play it because I love playing it. Some people have different types of things. I mean, you could check out the episode before this one where we talk about board games with Joe and Alex. And then the second one is I love playing video games. I love the immersiveness of video games and the stories that they tell. And love talking about video games with other people. And playing online is fun. And I think the video game world's kind of taking over a lot with society now, with esports and everything like that.
It's huge.
It's getting big now.
Bigger than Hollywood now.
Yeah, beforehand it used to be, you play video games, you're a nerd. Now it's now it's like, oh, are you an esports?
Now it's actually socially acceptable.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, you gotta play video games and make some money. And so those were kind of our topics here. Like I said, with video games, you can explore wherever you need to explore with and make this like a 6-hour episode. But we don't got time for that. We don't got time for that. And so thanks, Matt, again for joining us here. It was fun talking to you about video games. We're going to talk some more, obviously. And check out the debate. PC versus console gaming. That was our first episode we did. It was fun. I still have chills from those wings. Yeah. Shout out to Bird Box. Thank you so much for those wings. But if you agree with us, let us know. If you share some stories that you guys had about your experience playing these games that we mentioned. Yeah. Or let us know of some games that we missed. Let us know. We'd love to talk about those as well. And stay tuned for some more episodes. We got some pretty cool special things coming up in the month of December that we'll reveal soon. And that's it. Thank you again, Matt. Thank you again, Lydia, for manning the cameras. Y nos vemos para la próxima.